The unfortunate side effect of creatine. Nobody warns you about. If you've ever taken creatine, or even just thought about taking it, you've probably heard only the good stuff. More strength, more muscle, better workouts, and faster progress. It almost sounds too good to be true. And in many ways, creatine really is one of the most effective supplements out there. But here's what most people don't tell you up front. Creatine isn't completely side effect free. Not in a scary or dangerous way for most people, but in subtle, unexpected ways that can be confusing if you're not prepared. These are the kinds of effects that make people panic, stop taking it, or think something is wrong, even when it's not. Things like sudden weight changes, stomach discomfort, feeling off for the first few weeks, or not noticing results right away. None of these mean creatine is bad. They usually mean it's being misunderstood or used incorrectly. And because nobody explains these parts clearly, a lot of people quit right before the benefits actually show up. So today, we're going to be honest. No hype, no fear-mongering, just real talk. I'm breaking down the 7 unfortunate side effects of creatine nobody warns you about, not to scare you, but to help you understand what's normal, what's avoidable, and how to use creatine smarter so it actually works for you instead of against you. Number 1. Sudden weight gain on the scale. The first shock usually happens in the bathroom. You step on the scale, glance down, and suddenly you're up 1 or even 2 kilos. Panic mode instantly kicks in. You start wondering if creatine is making you gain fat, slowing your metabolism, or undoing all your hard work. But here's the truth most people don't hear. This isn't fat gain at all. Creatine pulls water into your muscle cells. That water helps your muscles look fuller, perform better, and recover faster. In other words, the extra weight is mostly water stored where you actually want it, inside your muscles, not around your waist. This is one of the most common and misunderstood side effects of creatine, especially for beginners. The real problem isn't the number on the scale. The real side effect is psychological. People see the scale go up, assume something is wrong, and quit creatine right when it's starting to work. That's unfortunate, because muscle hydration is part of how creatine improves strength and performance in the first place. This can be especially frustrating if your main goal is fat loss. But remember, fat loss and short-term scale weight are not the same thing. The mirror, how your clothes fit, and how strong you feel tell a much better story than the scale alone. So if the scale jumps a little after starting creatine, take a breath. It doesn't mean you're gaining fat or doing something wrong. It usually means the supplement is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And the worst mistake is letting that number scare you into stopping too soon. Number 2. Bloating or stomach discomfort. Some people notice bloating, gas, or a heavy feeling in their stomach soon after starting creatine, and this is one of the most common reasons they quit early. The good news is, this side effect usually has nothing to do with creatine being bad for you. It's almost always about how much you're taking and how you're taking it. When people jump straight into high doses or loading phases, they overwhelm their digestive system. Your gut simply isn't a fan of sudden overloads, especially if you already have a sensitive stomach. Creatine draws water into muscle cells, and when too much sits in your digestive tract at once, it can cause that bloated, uncomfortable feeling. This can show up as gas, mild cramps, or just feeling off after meals. The mistake most people make is assuming this means creatine doesn't agree with them at all. In reality, it usually just means the approach needs adjusting. Smaller, consistent, daily doses, around 3 to 5 grams, are much easier on digestion and work just as well over time. There's no rush. Creatine builds up gradually in your muscles, so patience pays off. Taking it with food and staying well hydrated can also make a big difference in how your stomach handles it. The real side effect here isn't bloating itself, it's misunderstanding it. When you slow down, lower the dose, and give your body time to adapt, this issue often disappears completely. And once it does, you get the benefits without the discomfort. Number 3, feeling nothing at first. This one frustrates a lot of people, especially beginners. You start taking creatine, you're consistent for a few days, maybe even a week, and then you think, is this even doing anything? No instant pump, no sudden explosion of strength, no obvious change. And that's where many people give up too early. Creatine doesn't work like caffeine or a pre-workout. It doesn't hit you fast. Instead, it works quietly in the background by slowly saturating your muscles over time. For most people, that process takes 1 to 3 weeks of daily use. Until your muscles are fully saturated, the effects can feel subtle or even invisible. The unfortunate side effect here isn't physical at all. It's impatience. People expect immediate feedback, and when they don't feel it right away, they assume it's useless. In reality, they often stop taking creatine right before it starts delivering its biggest benefits. Once saturation happens, that's when strength feels more consistent, workouts feel more solid, and recovery improves. But creatine rewards consistency, not impatience. Skipping days, stopping early, or constantly questioning whether it's working just delays results even more. Think of creatine like charging a battery, not flipping a switch. If you unplug it halfway, you never get the full power. Stick with it, stay consistent, and let time do its job. Because this side effect disappears the moment you stop rushing the process. Number 4, dehydration symptoms if you're not careful. Here's one side effect that catches a lot of people off guard. Hydration feels different on creatine. Creatine itself does not dehydrate you, but it changes where water goes in your body. It pulls more water into your muscles, which is actually a good thing for strength, endurance, and recovery. The problem happens when you don't replace that water properly. If your fluid intake stays the same as before, you may start noticing headaches, muscle cramps, dry mouth, or a general feeling of fatigue. Many people immediately assume creatine doesn't agree with me and stop taking it. In reality, it's not the creatine causing the issue, it's the mismatch between creatine use and hydration. This side effect is especially common for beginners or people who already don't drink much water during the day. It can also show up more in hot weather, during intense workouts, or if you drink a lot of coffee, which already increases fluid loss. Your body is simply asking for more support. The good news, this is one of the easiest side effects to fix. Drinking a bit more water throughout the day usually makes the headaches and cramps disappear quickly. You don't need to overdo it or force gallons down your throat. Just be more intentional about hydration. A glass of water with your creatine and regular sips during the day often solve the problem. The real unfortunate part isn't the hydration change itself, but the misunderstanding. When you listen to your body and support it properly, creatine becomes smoother, more comfortable, and far more effective instead of something you blame and abandon too soon. Number 5. Confusing blood test results. Creatine raises creatinine, a waste marker doctors measure to assess kidney function. And this is where a lot of fear starts. When someone sees higher creatinine levels on a blood test, the immediate assumption is often kidney stress or damage. But here's the important detail most people don't hear. Creatinine is simply a byproduct of creatine metabolism. When you supplement with creatine, creatinine naturally goes up a bit, even when your kidneys are perfectly healthy. The unfortunate side effect here isn't kidney damage for most people, it's confusion. If your doctor doesn't know you're taking creatine, lab results can look concerning at first glance. That can lead to unnecessary stress, extra testing, or even being told to stop something that isn't actually harming you. This misunderstanding is one of the biggest reasons creatine gets a bad reputation. Transparency is the solution. Always tell your doctor if you're using creatine or any supplement before blood work. When doctors have the full picture, they can interpret results accurately instead of assuming the worst. For healthy individuals with no existing kidney disease, decades of research show creatine is safe when used at normal doses. Of course, if you already have serious kidney problems, creatine isn't something to experiment with casually. That's a conversation you should always have with your healthcare provider. But for most people, this side effect isn't physical harm at all. It's a communication problem that's easily avoided with honesty and awareness. Used responsibly and openly, creatine doesn't damage your kidneys. It just changes a number on a lab report that needs proper context. Number 6. Overconfidence in the gym. Here's another unfortunate side effect people don't expect: doing too much, too soon. As creatine starts working, your muscles often feel stronger and more powerful before the rest of your body fully adapts. That sudden boost can trick you into thinking you're ready to lift heavier, train longer, or push harder than usual. The problem? Muscles adapt faster than tendons, ligaments, and joints. Those connective tissues need more time to catch up, especially if you haven't been training consistently or you're getting back into exercise after a break. This is where soreness, joint aches, or small strains can show up. It's not because creatine is harming your body. It's because creatine is doing its job a little too well, making your muscles capable of more work than your support system is ready to handle. Many people blame creatine and stop taking it, when the real issue is simply poor pacing. The key here is awareness. Creatine should make your training feel better, not reckless. Warm-ups matter more, recovery matters more, and gradual progression matters more than ever. Just because you can lift heavier doesn't mean you should, right away. Think of creatine as turning up the engine. You still need good brakes and steering. When used with patience, proper form, and smart recovery, this side effect disappears. But if you ignore it, you may end up sidelined with an injury that had nothing to do with the supplement itself, and everything to do with rushing the process. Number 7. Thinking creatine can replace effort. This might be the biggest and most misunderstood side effect of all: unrealistic expectations. Creatine is powerful, no doubt about it, but it isn't magic. It doesn't cancel out poor sleep, inconsistent training, low protein intake, or a sedentary lifestyle. If movement is minimal, nutrition is sloppy, and recovery is ignored, creatine won't suddenly transform results. The real downside isn't the supplement itself. It's expecting a scoop of powder to do all the work for you. Here's the truth nobody really says out loud: creatine isn't the problem. Expectations are. Creatine works best as a support tool, not a replacement for the basics. When paired with regular movement, enough protein, decent sleep, and smart hydration, it shines. When those pieces are missing, people blame creatine for not working, when in reality, it was never given a fair chance. And that's where frustration comes from. People quit too early, jump between supplements, or swear creatine did nothing, even though the foundation wasn't there. Creatine amplifies what you're already doing. If you're moving a little, it helps you move better. If you're training consistently, it helps you recover faster and feel stronger, but it won't create progress out of thin air. The good news? When used correctly, creatine is one of the safest, most researched, and most effective supplements available. Decades of studies back it up. Understanding the realistic side effects, like water weight, digestion changes, or patience, can save you months of confusion and wasted effort. Instead of fighting creatine, you learn how to work with it. So now I want to hear from you. Have you experienced any of these side effects with creatine? Or was it expectations that caused the biggest disappointment? And if you want a follow-up video on creatine dosage, kidney myths, or how beginners should take creatine safely, let me know. Drop a comment, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.